first time I met Muddy Waters, the first time I met B.D., the first time I met the Stones, and so like it's being the blues player, that's the way my life is.
Aspects of the blues, which for me is a never-ending source of inspiration.
It's a way of living, really. And the only music, really, I didn't grow up with TV or nothing like that in my house. My parents were Pentecostal, see. And all we heard in the house was gospel music. That's it. Nothing else, you know. So it was, I mean, a part of me, you know. So I couldn't shake it at all. But as I grew up, you know, and I learned how to play very young, guitar. And that was the school for me. And that's where I learned how to play in church, you know. In high school, I eventually got some training. And I really stuck to what they taught me as far as breathing and all that. But spiritually and getting the feel over, that's all gospel, all the church. It's the best school in the world. And blues, I can remember a little story as a kid. B.B. King, you know, all the big stars, Bobby Bland, Ovie Wright, all these guys used to come, I guess about 2 blocks away from my house on the weekend. And it used to be like festive. Everybody, you know, it was like a small street, but it would block the streets off and everything. And it was so hot in Florida. One year I got a chance to get up close to B.B. King, and it didn't matter to me. I wanted to get up and take his guitar because it was, I guess, pretty good. Manhattan could see him. And it was a little strip. I snuck away from home at night to get up to see B.B. King. So he told me, he said, well, you got no business here. You got no business. Well, just let me take your guitar out, you know. So I've been, ever since then, you know, it just had an effect on me. So those two, you know, I mean, gospel and blues, that's how my life came about like that. My uncle, Clarence Jenkins, he was in the area of John Lee Hooker, you know, Muddy Waters, those guys. And during the summer, we used to go visit down in Georgia. And he played bottlenecking with a knife and everything, you know. So it used to really excite me to see him play. And eventually my cousin, he moved from Georgia to down Florida. And he said, you know what? We need to get some guitars. And really I wanted to play bass. I didn't know bass from guitar at those times, you know. So he said, I'm going to play lead. And he was left-handed. So he turned his upside down. And I took the harmony and I said, okay, I'll play bass and tune it all the way down, you know, where I can get a bass sound. So I started guitar like that. The greatest thing for an entertainer is to have the audience respond to them. And as long as I can get someone to move, I'm about feeling. That's my strongest point. If I can get you to feel it, right, then I'm satisfied. Most times, so it happens. I never had any problem with that. If you're around, if you just stay around, I'll get you.
I pretty much owe everything I am today. I feel I owe that to John Mayall. He kept me in the band when I was just really out of control on, you know, alcohol and drugs, and he believed in me. And he gave me a lot of room to grow musically, and I got to watch him, you know, be a band leader and how he did that. And he was also clean and sober, and I got to have long talks with him about that and about what music and what life could be if I could kind of break myself free of that whole, you know, merry-go-round I was on. And So then when I sort of got the courage to have my own band, I had this great experience of watching him be a band leader and watching him get on stage every night and very subtly draw the best out of his players. You know, that's really his great strength as a band leader, finding the right players and getting that chemistry going. And then just very subtly and kind of low-key, he has this way of getting everybody to play their best. And so when I decided to leave him and go solo, you know, I really imitate him a lot in the way I lead my band.
I came home last night and my baby, she was doing me wrong. With another man. Yeah, my baby, she was doing me wrong.
You'd hear a group like the Animals do Boom Boom, and you'd see it was written by a guy named John Lee Hooker, so it would cause you to seek out the John Lee Hooker record, you know. And groups like The Cream would do a lot of Howlin' Wolf songs, and you know, so and you'd read interviews with these guys, and you'd read about the real American blues musicians. But you know, that's really where I learned about them, was from the English players of the mid to late '60s. There seems to be a long line of musicians in this genre who have had to go to Europe first. Jimi Hendrix probably being the most famous of them. You know, he was just basically an unknown sideman playing in New York, and he went to England, and there you go. Sometimes you don't see what's in your own backyard, you know, and, you know, like in the Bible, the prophet is always shunned in his own hometown, you know. Not that I'm a prophet or any of these musicians are prophets. I'm trying to find an analogy here. But there's so much of that music in this country that it's, by a lot of people, it's taken for granted. And if you go to Europe, I find, and you play well and you play from your heart, the people are open to it. And they're not so influenced by MTV and what's the latest trend, and who is the media telling us we should like this week. You know, over here there's a lot of that.
I can hear the train, and I know my baby's got to go. And I believe she's leaving me. I know she won't be coming back no more.
To me, I think of myself as a blues musician. John Lee Hooker thought I was a blues guitarist, so he put me in his band. And if he thinks I'm playing the blues, I don't know if I should listen to him or some critic. To me, I'll listen to John Lee Hooker. I think he knows more about blues than most critics. And but when I set about to have my own band and write my own music, I thought it might be good to try and expand some boundaries and to try and go beyond categories and go beyond stereotypes. And to me, a lot of blues that I hear these days bores me, and that I find a lot of musicians, instead of playing from their heart and trying to come up with their own approach and their own voice in the blues. They become little more than mimics. They get up on stage and try to sound exactly like Muddy Waters sounded in 1955. And when Muddy did that in 55, it was new. It was great. He was setting his own rules then. He was establishing his own boundaries. If art doesn't keep growing and changing, it's going to die. And so the purists can hate me, and if they do, that's good. I think I'm doing what I set out to do, which is expand it, move it, try to find something new in it, you know.
Had the pleasure recording this tune in San Francisco at the Fillmore West. On the show were two of the greatest in my times. Personality, showmanship, hard-working people, Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. Getting late over in the night. Everybody's sitting around just like you wonderful people are. Jimmy's standing way back in his legs. He said, "Hey, Big Al." I said, "What is it, Jimmy?" He said, "Come on out here and let's play some blues." I said, "Okay." I said, "But not without the Queen." That's Janis Joplin. So we sent upstairs to the dressing room and got her down, and she came down with a little thing, you know. Yeah, she always had that, you know. Yeah, smiling, big-hearted. We said, "Janis, we're going to do some blues." She said, "What you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. You started off." She said, "Okay." So I know one, half of one, and I'll start it, and you'll have to finish it. You or Jimmy. I said, "That's good. Go ahead." She said, "Ooh-wee. Baby, you don't love me no more." I turned around and looked at her. Ooh-wee. I know you don't love me no more. I'm gonna pack up, darling, and down the road I go. Oh, you tell everybody that I treat you like a clown. Oh, you tell anybody that I treat you like a clown. Oh, but your friends don't know, darling, just what you are putting down. Then she left and went on back upstairs, left me and Jimmy looking at her with our mouth open. I asked Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, this is going to come to you as a shock. You're going to think I'm crazy, but is she white for real? He said, yep. I said, she is. I said, I'd like to know how in the hell did she get that?